really big problem. I'm curious, for a lot of the patients or consumers that are using the application, what are what kind of patients are they? What type of consumers are they? What are they normally struggling with? I mean, basically, yes, we understand it's migraines and headaches, but do they fit into a specific set of profile for a lot of the users of your application?
Absolutely. And we had to choose. The semantic can be very, very dangerous when talking about uh, disease, because you can have one name for one disease, but it's so big that in that you have many subsegments of patients, many different persona. And if you go to address everybody at the same time, that's as deadly as saying, I will do something for the young people. No, even young people are not all the same. All millennials are not the same, despite what some people tend to write in magazines or websites. And that's the same, migraineurs, diabetes patients, cancer patients, they are not all the same. And so the first thing we had to do was really to think about, within that massive population of 1 billion potential patients, who will we go first to support? And so we started with patients who are higher chronicity, thinking of the business model that we will be able to push, and the fact that we wanted to be involved in clinical trials very fast. Why? Because you had new treatments coming for the higher chronicity patients. And what I mean by high chronicity, that's patients who can have between 4 migraine days a month to 30 migraine days a month. And the migraine is not a headache. Huh? It's a lot more symptoms. It's the hypersensitivity of your brain. You can be extremely sensitive to the light. You can be vomiting. You can be nausea. You cannot sometimes not even stand. You can be half paralyzed. That's really tough. So we went for those who are in that very complex, difficult case, who will need to communicate with their doctors. And progressively, we expanded in there, considering the different treatments, the different objectives of the patients. So that's a little bit like starting with the diabetes type 2 patients who are at risk of loss of controls of their insulin. Who've tried already metformin and 2 other drugs to control their insulin levels, and who've put a pump. That's being specific like that. And then after, you can expand into other subsegments. But it's, as I said, whatever the disease, if this is a broad disease, you have to be very careful that even if there is one big label, you have to go for sub-labels which are small. And in the same way that you've had the 20 years ago, soon 20 years ago, a startup starting with Harvard, and then Ivy schools, Ivy League schools, and then expanding to more young people. And now it's reaching it's more than, it's in the billion number of users. Be the lead. We had to be the leader in that first sub-segment so that we could go in the other ones.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like you have a really complex challenge, because when individuals talk about headaches or migraines, it's a feels kind of a abstract definition, and I feel like it can have a lot of different subsets, which very, very interesting how you took that approach.
There's actually 200 types of headaches in the international classification.
Really? Wow.
And this classification is continuously evolving. And the last one took them more than 10 years to agree on the classification, because one key thing also there, which makes it very interesting for machine learning, is that we don't know what is causing migraine. And neurologists tell us that we know more about the universe that we know about the brain, the human brain. So, and that fits also again very well with the objective of machine learning and being potentially using black box algorithms, because sometimes you have to solve a problem without understanding how it works.